Welcome back to another sculpt session. I'm your host, Sash, and I am here with my bestie, Mandz.
Hey guys.
And today, Mandz and I are going to jump into a conversation that I feel like all bodybuilders need to hear, and also all people who are just in their fitness journey who have either lost a lot of weight or are looking to lose a lot of weight, and that is going to be reversing. Reversing is something that you will see us going back into the bodybuilding prep conversation, but everything that we say also applies to anyone who's just in the lifestyle, loses weight, maybe worked with a coach and had a very low calorie intake and like wasn't in a really good place. I really want us to talk about the importance of reversing. What is reversing? Just to begin with, reversing is when you do exactly what that word says. You essentially reverse from how low of a body fat percentage you are, from how low your calories are, from how high your cardio is, into what is maintainable, realistic, sustainable, and most importantly, healthy for your body. So if we take it into a bodybuilding prep, what you see in the last days of the prep, what you see on the show day, what you see of how the competitor looks like, that is not sustainable. I think people are still missing that point and trying to get that lean and live like that. That is not sustainable. That is not realistic. And the way that you essentially ease out of a bodybuilding prep or being in such a low calorie deficit or being so lean is by following through with the reverse. So we're going to attack it from all sides today. We're going to talk about the science and like the sciencey stuff behind it. We're going to talk about the mental shifts and the mindset shifts. We're going to tap on everything and anything that we could think of in our personal experiences, in what our clients have experienced, and just what we've seen on social media and online. Because I've seen girls have extremely successful, extremely amazing reverses where they look better after their reverse than they did at the beginning of prep. And that is the goal. That is the end goal, is to look better after you reverse than how you looked when you started that journey. Again, whether it was for a bodybuilding prep or just for lifestyle. And I've also seen cases where within a week they put on 25 pounds and then have a extremely, extremely difficult time losing the weight, even if they never want to compete again, but just losing that weight. So Mandy, I would love for you to kick us off and give us a little bit of the sciencey, nerdy backstory, back talk about, yep, fix those glasses. Sciencey, nerdy backstory of what is happening in your body when you are that lean, and why do we need to take reversing as seriously, if not even more seriously, than we do with the actual weight loss slash cutting phase.
Yeah, I think that's great. And I will definitely back you. I think the reverse needs to be taken even more seriously than the prep itself for numerous reasons. In the prep, we have like this goal for stage. In reversing, we're looking at your health for like the rest of your life to come, whether it involves another trip to the stage or not. So if you are someone that was like, oh, I'm doing this one more time, the reverse is key because if you're not going to adopt this lifestyle, which is totally fine, you need to be at a healthy point where you can continue to live your life at a healthy body weight, and have your hormones pretty regulated, I guess would be the right word. So, from a physiological standpoint, when we are stage lean, I was about to use the D skin lean,
Mm.
D skin peeled. Um, when we are that lean, it is not sustainable because, and I'm speaking strictly to women here, but it does apply to men. Women, it's just a lot more severe here. When our body fat is that low, we cannot produce adequate sex hormones. Very often, we will hear women that are competing say, I lost my cycle. While it's common, it definitely shouldn't be like really bragged about as like a badge of honor. Yes, it's common. Yes, people, will get it back if you're strategic in the reverse. So if you're somebody that does want to have a family, this is key. If you're somebody that doesn't want to have a family, it doesn't matter. It's still key to your health. Um, so we need to put on body fat very intentionally so your hormones can be fully supported.
Mm.
That's from the sex hormone aspect. From the rest of the hormone aspect, When you are that lean, when you have a show day, you are like locked in and eating low amount of food. You've got your eyes on the prize. It's super easy. But once that goal is removed and your coach says, "Hey, great job, go eat a free meal." But then we're back on plan and we have to reverse. What happens if some people do not take this seriously is now you've mentally decided, oh, I'm okay to relax and have a free meal. But if you think, well, wait, I'm super lean, I could probably have a second meal. And it rolls into a third and it rolls into a fourth. It's not just mentally that you are like giving that okay, it is hormonally. Our brain is now saying, hey, I'm going to produce more ghrelin, which is going to make you hungrier. So you're going to keep eating. That's a hunger hormone. And it's going to downregulate leptin, which is what tells you when you're full. So I've seen competitors that have no hormone signaling telling them to stop eating. They eat so much, they're binging. They look 5 months pregnant. Hello, that was me, my first reverse. I had a couple episodes like that. And there is nothing I could technically mentally do, like willpower wise, to like stop it, because at that point you are just hormonally driven. So that's why, from a science aspect, it is so important to listen to your coach and to understand when they tell you have one meal after your show to celebrate, it should just be one meal. Think about it as getting a refeed in your prep. You do one meal, that's the refeed, and you see how your body responds. Same concept reversing. You do that meal, let's see how your body responds. And that's still data your coach is going to use to walk you out of that prep. Calories should be increased intentionally and incrementally. You're not going to go from eating 1,200 calories to eating 2,000 calories, because that's going to put on a bunch of body fat. And
Yeah.
then that shocks our body and then we hold on to it.
Yeah.
So that's it in a nutshell. If you don't stop me, I'm just going to keep talking about
I don't want to stop you because I
it.
love this, because I love this. And I also just want to add in here, like in very simple terms, your body is so fragile right now, and it is so depleted, and it is so
Survival mode.
survival, yeah, survival mode. It will take what you give it and want even more, because not to mention, if you start off with eating the cookies and the sugar and the treats and the this and the that, that spikes your sugar so high that now all like you just want more of it. I remember when I stepped off stage in my last two shows, my coach was very like, "Yep, you can go have like your outside meal." She knew what I was gonna have. I was having sushi, like it was very simple. And she was like, "If you want something sweet, have it after you eat." So like there was no take a bite out of the cookie because everyone's doing it for the picture. And like if you are doing that, it's one bite and then you go and you eat your normal dinner and then you eat dessert. Like,
Mhm.
like common sense, eat a meal and then eat the sweets, because otherwise all you're gonna want to do is eat all of these sweets. And I see so often that post show, like one, people come to shows with snacks and treats and yummies that they're gonna have immediately after. And unless you can go above that non-existing willpower and stop yourself anyways, you're not gonna do as good as you think you're gonna do in the reverse. Everyone that I speak to, yeah, I'll be fine during the reverse. No, you're not. No, you're not. You don't even understand what's gonna be happening in your body after that and like how your body's gonna respond. So that's where you have to put your full trust in your coach. And even if you're starving and your coach is telling you follow your meal plan and hit your protocol, and there's no more show day deadline, there is still a deadline for reversing. And you have 6 to 8 weeks where you need to, by minimally, be continuing your prep, just not in as much of a deficit and as much cardio as you're doing.
I was also going to say cortisol too,
Yeah.
because a lot of people will get stressed out about the eating too. Your cortisol spikes, and what happens? Oh, we have more blood sugar released in the body, and now insulin's trying to make up for that, and then we're getting more cravings because our cortisol is getting higher. So it's really important to, like you said, listen to your coach and rein it in. Do not do not make this error that I see so many competitor, like especially like new competitors make. Stock up on the sugary sweets and the cookies and stuff and keep them in your house for like after. Don't do that. Don't do that. Like if you need, like, show date is on the calendar. If you need another to put another date on the calendar, do that 8 weeks after that show date, that you can go buy whatever it is that you want to buy to celebrate with, but you need to do that reverse for
Yes.
2 months.
Yeah. And I feel like this is a really good place to segue into the mindset, right?
Mhm.
Like, because you mentioned like there isn't that end goal, there isn't that like, oh, show day, awesome, cool, like got that. There's no more of that. So people have show day blues and what do I do now? And I've been working so hard towards this one goal and now I don't have it anymore. And I really want to use this moment right here as an opportunity to reframe that I've been working so hard towards this moment that I don't have anymore. And instead of thinking about that, thinking about what about the rest of your life? Even if you don't plan to compete, if you do plan to compete again and it's in 2 years, that's the moment that you should be working towards now. I don't care that it's 2 years away. I don't care if it's 4 years away. I don't care if it's both of us have taken 2 year off seasons and we've gone through our own ebbs and flows and rocky moments and down highs and lows and all of that. But if you are a person who has a hard time working towards something or checking off your boxes or showing up for yourself without having an end goal, create your own end goal. Like you said, 8 weeks post show, mark that day on the calendar. That's going to be the day that you non-negotiably will have an outside meal, a little treat, something to reward yourself after completing a successful reverse. And if you don't complete a successful reverse, that's going to be a good moment for you to look back and see where you went wrong and where you could have gone better, or create different goals for yourself, whether even if it's not competing, like, all right, I got off stage. My goal is now to hip thrust this much weight and get this much stronger and do these things. You can set your own goals for yourself. It doesn't have to be a specific date at a specific time for a specific event. It can just be I'm making the choice and I'm making the decision to live a healthy life.
Mhm.
That
Yeah.
doesn't need an end goal. That could just be you making a choice to live like this, healthy.
Mhm. And so what you said too, and this might sound a little mean, but I mean, take it as you will, guys. If you made it through a 16 plus, who
20,
knows
24.
how long you, however long you started, but let's say baseline 16 plus week prep, you can wait 8 weeks to have other stuff. And if your coach is doing right by you and feeding you up anyway, like I I will be so for real. My second show, I brought an apple to eat afterwards. I was like, I just want this like thick 3C thick Honeycrisp apple. So like you can still have something sweet, and like that was just as satisfying, if not more, than if I had like I don't know, like a triple decker brownie or something. Because the other thing that you have to think about, not just like in a hormone sense when you're reversing, is if you feed yourself a shit ton of sugar or a shit ton of processed foods, your gut microbiome is already in a very sensitive place. And this is why so many competitors end up needing to do gut protocols,
After.
because if you do not reverse properly, you're going to end up with dysbiosis or an imbalance. And that's where we see chronic bloating. Hello, male
Inflammation.
bodybuilders. We've all seen them where they still have like six pack abs, but they also like look pregnant.
Yeah.
So, like bloating, gas, if you're not pooping every day, whether you're on prep or reversing or just normal life, that's a problem, guys.
Yeah.
Gotta poop.
Yeah. No,
Always.
seriously. Everything that you're saying is so real and we speak about this as two competitors who have been in your shoes. We also speak about this as two coaches who have competitors who have struggled with the reverse. And I truly just don't think it is taken as seriously. It's not taken as seriously. People don't think about it enough. They think that it's going to be this easy thing that they just do, and it's not. It's not. It is the continuation of a prep. And if you see big time bodybuilders, Olympians, pros, and you really keep up with them and you see that they like got off stage and then they had this meal and then they had this meal and they had this flexibility and that flexibility, you cannot compare that to your own reverse. And I'm like specifically thinking of the Queen Laura Lee right now. She like went on a family trip or something and she was posting how she had this like wrap and then she had this sundae and then how she had this yummy delicious food and she's I don't know, maybe like a month or so post show. And you, cannot compare yourself to someone who's been doing this for 10 years and actually knows their body and understands it well enough to know when they could allow something like that versus when they can. You also don't know if she was bloated or didn't feel good after that. You also don't know the protocol that her coach has her on or anyone else that you are comparing yourself to or think has done something different. Like every single competitor goes through this. Every single competitor needs to reverse. There's just no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I don't care if you're never stepping on stage again, you have to reverse. Like if anything, it's even more crucial for someone who does this as like a one-time thing. Because if you step off and then you don't reverse and then you blow up like a balloon, you're gonna have a really hard time losing any weight. And now you also don't live this lifestyle. So it's kind of like a good luck Charlie moment. You know, it's
Well, that's something I want to talk about really quick too, is I think people think I'm a bodybuilder, I live this lifestyle, I'm doing a show, I'm going to be fine reversing because I'm already living the lifestyle, but your physiology and hormones are so strong, it will be extremely difficult to override it if you let yourself get carried away with that post-show meal.
yeah.
Like you, and then that wrecks you even more mentally because you're like, whoa, I thought I had a handle on this. And then it's
I
almost
thought
like
I
a
was disciplined.
right. And it's like it's a guilt shame spiral when really it's like no, your body is literally freaking out in survival mode. It's so important that if your coach says one meal and like your coach said have real food first, then you can have the sweet treat, like you truly need to listen. We're not trying to be the bad guys. We're literally trying to be your big sisters and like help you realize like we want you to still look good, feel confident, like reverse successfully. We've both lived it. And arguably like Sasha's one of the most disciplined people that I know. But when your physiology is like hanging in the balance, it wants what it
It will
wants.
test you.
Yes.
It will test you. No, for sure. For sure. I think we covered a good chunk of this and I feel like this podcast is even meant for a potential future part two. Because you know, the body dysmorphia that comes within reversing and like that's something that I feel like would be a good podcast for us to talk about like that start of the growth season and like seeing your body changing because it will and it should and it's supposed to. Um, but I feel like we covered a really good ground of like essentially like what that post-show day, week, month, 2 months is supposed to look like, and it's supposed to look like following the program and following the plan. And if you don't trust your coach or their plan or their program, that is a conversation for you to have beforehand. If your coach has not brought up the reverse to you beforehand, that is a problem. And if you do not follow the reverse and you make that choice to not follow it, that is a you problem. Because it's a choice to make that choice.
And that's why you have a
Hormones
coach.
are
You have
not.
accountability. So if you're going to ignore them, you're essentially lighting your money on fire and throwing it away.
Yeah, and making that decision. So, with all that said and done, if you get anything out of this, whether you've ever competed or not, or if you're considering competing, add another 8 weeks to your prep because that's what you're going to need after you get off stage. If you are currently in a reverse and you have struggled during it, that those first couple of days do not define you. That first week or whatever you had does not define you. I just need you to pick it, get it together, pick your shit up, get it together, and continue on forward a lot more strong than how you started. It's not necessarily about how you start, it's about how you continue and what you keep doing moving forward. So if you did have a binge cycle, if you did eat until you throw up, if you did go days without tracking your food or whatever the case may be, have your oh shit moment now if you didn't already and lock back in because that does not define you, but use that as fuel, like how shitty you feel about yourself, use that as fuel to do better. And I think this
Mic
is a
drop.
good, yeah, I think this is a really good place to wrap that up. Do you have any last minute mic drops?
My only thing would be to just continue to like reassure, especially it's rare, I think, that you have a first time competitor that 100% nails the reverse. You're going to be a small portion of that population. So if you are a first time competitor or a new competitor, let's say maybe it's like your third show or something, be really gentle and forgiving with yourself. It is literally your physiology. Do not fall into the guilt shame spiral. Like Sasha said, just pick yourself up. And what you do from that moment forward is really what matters more than what you did last week.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. No, that was great. That was great. But on that note, thanks for tuning in to another Sculpt Session Sunday. I will go ahead and link our Instagrams down below. Make sure to pop over to Mandy's podcast every Monday, Unfiltered and Functional. So that's like I said, it's dropping every Monday. We will see you back on the next one. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. If you're on Spotify, leave 5 stars, all that fun stuff. And we will see you back next week with another Sculpt session. Bye.
Bye.